Welcome to City Roundup, brought to you by the City of Pensacola, with your host, Saida Rosa. City Roundup is your one-stop shop for everything having to do with the City of Pensacola. And now, Saida.
Welcome back to another episode of City Roundup. I'm your host, Saida Rosa with the City of Pensacola. Last week, Mayor Robinson held a homelessness workshop with Escambia County Commissioner Lumen May. Community partners shared ideas to help those in need. The mayor talked with reporters about the workshop during his press conference on Monday.
With the summit, I thought was productive. I mean, I don't think we came out there with anything that we had, that we could do immediately, but we had 4 things that came out of there that we can begin working on. And I think as we move forward, anything we can hone in on how we can do housing. Probably it sounded like large-scale shelter housing may not be what we needed, but we needed some more smaller-scale sheltering and really some long-term, along with really looking at a more effective day center and how we could work through some of those things. So I thought the meeting was fairly productive.
Mayor Robinson's on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Search Pensacola Mayor for a behind-the-scenes look of what he's working on, his thoughts on important issues, and more. We ventured to a place we haven't been before in the latest edition of our news show. Host Tonya Vaden traveled to Pensacola Energy, our new host John Scanlon's neck of the woods, to talk about the great resource you may not know about, tell us about the city's new look, and how to compete in the Ultimate Kids Baseball competition. Those topics and more coming up right now.
Welcome back to another episode of our City News Show. I'm your host, Tonya Vaden.
And I'm John Scanlon, and we're in my neck of the woods for this episode. Welcome to Pensacola Energy. We figured since the recreational months have arrived, now is a great time to tell you about a service we offer that you definitely want to know about. We have 2 big grills that you can rent for free. Hurry, reservations fill up quickly. We have the Blue Flame, which is 1 big grill, and we have the Crowd Pleaser, which is half grill, half deep fryer. All you have to do is call our marketing department to schedule a pickup time. We do require a $100 cleaning deposit check, but as long as the grill has been properly cleaned and not broken when it's returned, we give the check back. Pickup is available on Fridays from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. and drop off on Monday during those same hours. You can reach our marketing department at 436-5050.
The City of Pensacola has a new look. Mayor Grover Robinson announced that Florida's First and Future will serve as the city's new tagline. It is a historical declaration for Pensacola and captures the city's promising path ahead. In addition, the city seal has been brought back as the city's official image.
The city is now accepting applications for the spring cycle of fiscal year 2018-2019 Pensacola Neighborhood Challenge Grant Program. Applications are available online and will be accepted until May 31st. The grant provides matching funds to neighborhood associations for improvements like projects, signage, and sidewalks. Learn more by visiting cityofpensacola.com.
Kids, grab your glove and bat and join us at the Roger Scott Athletic Center complex because the Ultimate Baseball competition is coming. We're hosting the Major League Baseball Pitch, Hit, and Run Skills Competition. Boys and girls ages 7 to 14 are eligible to compete in separate pitching, hitting, and running competitions with a chance to advance to the national finals during MLB All-Star Week in Cleveland. Registration is available online, and on-site registration starts the event day at 9:30 a.m. and ends at 11. Again, that is April 20th at the Roger Scott Athletic Complex.
Just a reminder, we will celebrate the grand opening of the Pensacola Ferry Landing on April 13th. The City of Pensacola and its partners will hold a ribbon-cutting ceremony beginning at 10 a.m. The grand opening of the new landing comes in anticipation of Pensacola Bay Cruises beginning service for the recreational season. HMS Ferries Incorporated is the concessionaire under contract with the National Park Service to operate their 2 catamaran-style boats. Once in service, they will transport passengers between Quietwater Beach, Fort Pickens, and downtown. Again, the grand opening is April 13th at 10 a.m.
We also want to remind you that the annual Pensacola Easter egg hunt presented by Chick-fil-A is April the 13th. Join us at the Roger Scott Athletic Complex beginning at 10 a.m. We will have Easter egg hunts, carnival games, bounce houses, and photos with the Easter Bunny. Admission is free, but we ask that you bring a non-perishable food item to donate to Manna Food Pantries. Visit playpensacola.com for more information.
That's all we have for you on this episode. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next week.
While we're on the topic of Pensacola Energy, in this edition of City Spotlight, we introduce you to Mark Richardson, a field services leader who answers your call when you need help with your natural gas.
Well, I've been with the city overall 15 years in. I started off in code enforcement when I first got on. And I stayed down there for like 9 months, and I transferred here because I had like underground experience and piping experience. Hi, my name is Mark Richardson. I work with Pensacola Energy. I'm a field service leader. See, this is how we get our orders. Got to connect, read meter, customer request. And then if we have any emergencies, they call us on our cell phone to let us know that we got emergency to respond. Like a customer might say they're smelling gas inside or outside, so we have to respond. But the most common call, it'll be connects and turn back on. On our end, we just try to make sure everything is safe. If we ain't sure, we just shut it down. We'll get somebody, the inspector, to come out and make sure, take a look at it, make sure it's up to code properly. And just try to educate them on how our gas smell. Well, actually, we got some these little scratch cards that you can smell. Give them to them, pass them out where they can smell it, and then they can determine how gas smell. You can help a lot of people, especially the elder people. So sometimes, they get into a jam or a tight. It just, when you get there, a little simple smile sometimes, talking to people, cheer them, make their day. I enjoy that.
Visit our YouTube channel and explore more episodes of City Spotlight and our City News Show. We'll be right back after these messages.
Heat pumps don't pump much heat. In fact, heat from an efficient natural gas heater can be 30% warmer, and you can get up to an $800 rebate when you install one. Warming up to natural gas yet? Learn more at PensacolaEnergy.com.
Natural gas homes are in demand. Here's what home builders have to say.
One of the major roles of us using the tankless water heaters and gas cooktops is because of trying to utilize energy efficient features in our homes. Without reservation, our owners that have moved into a home where we use this natural gas have always been happy that we've used this and very satisfied with the product.
Natural gas from Pensacola Energy, the clean, reliable, earth-friendly choice.
Welcome back, and now we turn to our green tip of the week. Buy rechargeable batteries. It takes 1,000 regular batteries to equal the lifespan of one rechargeable battery. And remember, regular batteries are not recyclable items. Would you like to work for the City of Pensacola or know someone who would? We're hiring. This week's featured job is for a transportation planner. This is a highly responsible professional design and implementation position to provide oversight and facilitate development of the Complete Streets program. To learn more about it and apply, visit PensacolaCityJobs.com. We'll be right back after this.
Heating water with electricity versus natural gas can cost twice as much, and tankless natural gas water heaters can add even more savings. So don't get soaked with higher energy costs. Learn more at PensacolaEnergy.com. Natural gas dryers may cost a little more than electric ones, but they dry clothes quicker, making them cost half as much to run. So now who's getting taken to the cleaners? Learn more at PensacolaEnergy.com.
Some food for thought for your Friday. In this episode of Coastal Cooking Quick Bites, host John Scanlon from Pensacola Energy shows us how to make fried mullet with Chef Bryan from Kingfisher.
Welcome to Coastal Cooking Quick Bites, brought to you by Pensacola Energy.
Hi, welcome to Coastal Cooking Presents Quick Bites. I'm your host, John Scanlon. And we have a very special guest with us in the kitchen today. We have Chef Bryan from Kingfisher. Chef Bryan, thanks for being on the show.
You're welcome.
And with this is the third part of our Kingfisher trilogy. This is the
mullet.
The fried mullet. This is the centerpiece. So, and the other ones you made coleslaw, Kingfisher coleslaw. You made cheese grits, which tasted fantastic. So make sure to watch those, find out how to do it at home. But more importantly, go to Kingfisher and just see what goes into their food. So with the fried mullet, How do y'all do it at Kingfisher?
Well, we do it with a cornmeal breading. We do it right before it's right when you order it. So whereas some of the stuff is done ahead, like the cheese grits and the coleslaw prepared ahead, the mullet we wait till the last minute to fry it up.
Gotta get it fresh.
Yeah.
Well, and he has to for your cheese grits. They take 5 hours. So
right. It's like 5 hours compared to like 2 minutes.
Yeah. So you already got your mullet here. We got a couple eggs. What else do we have?
Well, again, we have our cornmeal. I like to use a cornmeal heavy kind of flour. I know Slips had a secret recipe for their breading, and I think it was more flour based. But I felt like this part of the region that we're in Florida, cornmeal makes a lot of sense. It just gives a little bit of that harder crust to kind of contrast with the real soft, kind of flaky element of the mullet. So, whereas you have a creamy on the inside, crispy on the outside is the idea.
Gotcha. That's really cool to hear you doing that, because you guys are at 1500 Barrancas Avenue. It's the old Slips building, and Slips was a staple of that area. It's been around, it was around for years, and Kingfisher's now there, and you have your own signature on these dishes, but it's really cool that you are looking back at kind of the legacy they left. That's really awesome. I wasn't expecting that. Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah, it is cool, and it's a cool building, and we try to do right by the tradition, whereas we did decide to change the seafood breading, and the Slips breading was a secret recipe. Mm-hmm. We did try to recreate our closest version of the Slips breader to use for our fried chicken and our chicken tenders, which was one of the real popular dishes there. Mm-hmm. And we also still serve crinkle cut French fries.
And y'all cut those?
We cut those by hand.
Yeah.
So the platter that you can get now at Kingfisher it reminds a lot of people of what they used to get at Slips. So we get to make a lot of people happy who are used to coming there.
Absolutely, it's the best of both worlds.
Yeah, thanks. And I can show you a little bit more about the mullet. There's a couple things that we do before we actually bread and fry the mullet. Mm-hmm. It doesn't take real long, but we do put a little marinade on it. And I've spoken to some people, local Pensacola, people who are from here who do choose to marinate the mullet. Some people don't. Some people do real garlic heavy marinades, some people that I've heard. But this is kind of how we do it, and it's actually based on the way that they're doing it at Slips to a certain extent as well. But if your mullet's real fresh, you don't actually have to marinate it. Even if if it wasn't fresh, you want to serve it anyway, because it's one of those things that you want to get that day. But I know that some people say, oh well, my mullet's a day old, now I'm going to marinate it. Mm-hmm. And some people actually like it better that way, not necessarily a day old, but marinated. But we can take the really fresh stuff, and even though it is really fresh, we do marinate it because we like the little flavor that we do. So I broke up an egg there. As from before, we do a little salt and pepper in the egg. And all the seasoning that's going to be on the fish right here is going to be contained in the marinade and in the breader. So I'm not actually going to put any salt on the fish, which is a little,
Yeah, I'm interested in this, even what I'm doing at home when we cook mullet, because my marinade is in the milk right before I put it in the batter.
Right.
So I'm interested. This is going to be really nice to see.
Yeah. Oh, that works great too. Just a little milk, whatever you have around. That's what you want to use. You want to have a little spices. We did salt and pepper. Again, we're going to use our house seasoning. We put this in a lot of different stuff, and it's just good to have something on hand that you like to use a lot. It's convenient. I'm sure for some people it's Tony and all that. I don't want to name too many brand names, but so now we have our egg, which is one egg. Mm-hmm. We have our salt, which is about half a teaspoon of salt, and we have our black pepper, which is a 1/4 teaspoon. And now, since we're just doing a couple mullet fillets, I'm actually just going to use a 1/2 cup here of buttermilk. And whereas you guys use milk, I would be happy to use that at home if I didn't have buttermilk. But we're at the restaurant, we get tons of butter. We use tons of buttermilk, and it's good for marinating the fish, and it's good to have something on there that the batter's going to want to stick to. Mm-hmm. So, it gives it flavor, and it also helps with the actual frying process. So now that's the marinade made up and done. So, and I forgot to say it's a 1/2 cup of the buttermilk there. So a little egg. You don't actually have. This is one of the things. Again, you don't have to actually measure that intensely if you don't want. Just make sure you have your salt and pepper in there so it tastes nice.
That's what I was thinking. Next time we do it, I'd like to do, like you said, a marinade, get the spices in there, and how you want it. Make your own signature, like we were talking about.
Yeah, and maybe try it with the egg sometime if you like it. That can be your new recipe. If you feel like it better with just the milk, then stick to that.
And if you don't want to try it that way, make sure you go by Kingfisher and try your way.
Yeah. A lot of people do enjoy it. So here for the cornmeal, again, this is the same cornmeal I just made to use the polenta or our quick version of the grits. So I'm going to use a cup of the cornmeal, C&D cornmeal, and then I'm going to use just about a quarter cup of the flour. So whereas we did reduce the amount of flour in the traditional breader, we still have some in there because it gives it a nice, I think it kind of helps kind of bind it together a little bit. We also use a little bit of house seasoning in there, not too much, because you want to be able to taste the fish. And then that's about half a teaspoon. And we do about a half a teaspoon of salt in there. Because as I said, we're not going to apply any additional salt to the fish. So since all our seasoning is coming from here and here, you just want to make sure you have a little bit of seasoning, including salt, in there. You don't want to have too much, obviously, but just enough. And what I did is I grabbed some hush puppy batter from the restaurant that we make, again, with the cornmeal and buttermilk, and there's a little bit of onion in there, and some eggs. And it's our hush puppy recipe that's real simple. You can use your favorite hush puppy recipe, but these always take a little bit longer than the fish. So I'm just going to start those in the fryer first. The fish actually doesn't take that long to cook. So like at the restaurant, if we're busy, our seafood cook will, often when the ticket comes in, if mullet with French fries, for example, first thing they're gonna do is drop the French fries because those actually take the longest. And then they're gonna do the hush puppies because those take a little bit longer. And then the last thing to go in will be the mullet because it's such a thin fish, It doesn't take long. But this one, you can actually cook it a little. I think this one, people say, make sure you don't overcook fish. And we only cook it for a couple minutes. But for me, when you're cooking mullet, you want to leave it in there a little bit extra just so it gets a little bit extra crispy. Even though you could have probably taken it out a little sooner and it would still be cooked, technically. To get that little extra crisp on it, you want to...
That crunch, that bite.
Crunch, yeah. You want to make sure it has that crunch. So right now, I'm trying not to get my hands dirty.
I do like how you said, so the fries cook quicker, a little faster. But you guys cut those, you guys soak them, that's all homemade.
Yeah, so even though they do take 8 to 10 minutes in the deep fryer when we're serving them, there's a couple steps that go in before that. We get the special kind of potato in called the Kennebec frying potato, which is just a potato that's been bred to be really good for frying chips and for frying French fries. And then we hand cut them in a bucket, usually the night before, and then the cook will come in early in the morning and start blanching the fries at 250 in the deep fryer. And that's the magic number, 250. Also for the chips.
And the chips are phenomenal at your restaurant.
But it gets that, and then when you get the potato for the crinkle cut, you just want to make sure it's just cooked through in the middle. You could press on it and it'll just squish and then take it out because you don't want it to cook any further than that because all the moisture, as you can see when the fry is happening, there's a lot of moisture that happens. So when you're doing that, you see the moisture is actually coming out of the food. And with the French fry, since you do want it to be crispy on the outside and really creamy in the middle, you don't want to cook it too long at the first 250 cook because then you're losing too much moisture. So you stop it, you get all the moisture in there, and then you turn the deep fryer up to 350 for the final cook, and that'll crisp it on the outside.
A lot of people don't know what goes into cooking fries, and we've discussed that before. The fact that you put that much time and effort into a fry means that you do care. So there's going to be a difference in the way your fries taste at Kingfisher than it does somewhere else. You can't just throw them in to a fryer, and that's how, there's a difference. There really is.
There is, and that's how you learn it. The way we do it is the exact same way they do it in culinary school. So, if you talk to a chef, they'll be familiar with it. But, I think it's, even though it's really super classic, I think that the way that we're doing it, in the setting, I think is a little bit unique.
And it's not only the fries, but everything that you guys have at Kingfisher it's homemade. You make your own dressings. You make a wonderful pineapple habanero hot sauce. Your chips they're great. They're crispy. They're crunchy. There's so much
fresh.
Good thing. Absolutely, that's a great word for it. I mean, I would never think of a fresh chip, but that fits.
Yeah.
And you're located at 1500 Barrancas Avenue. It's the old Slips building, the new Kingfisher. You're open Monday through Thursday, 10 to 3, Friday and Saturday, 10 to 10. Live music on the weekends. You can find them on their website, kingfishersandwiches.com. Social media, you got Facebook, Instagram. It's all under Kingfisher, I think Pensacola.
The website, Kingfisher Pensacola, or Kingfisher Sandwiches will get you there.
And what I like about it, you guys are very transparent, and that's how I knew about your fries. And because I do follow y'all, you guys are always putting, you have meatloaf tomorrow, and like all the preparation that goes into it, and your crinkle cut fries, you guys are working on today for tomorrow, and that's you don't see that often. So, and make sure you follow them. You have a lot of special items on there. Today you had a different sandwich that looked incredible.
Double pork panini.
Absolutely, yeah. So you're not going to have that tomorrow, correct?
We actually will have it tomorrow.
Okay,
it sold pretty well today, but yeah, we're going to keep on going with the panini.
Okay, well,
and the meatloaf's going on the menu.
The meatloaf's going on the menu, and if you haven't followed yet, make sure you follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and see a picture of this thing. It looks incredible.
It's fun. I grew up with meatloaf sandwiches. Some people haven't had it, some people had, but I just love making meatloaf. It's one of those things that I started doing, and it's just fun.
A good meatloaf sandwich. I used to have that when I was a teenager, and it was awesome.
And I make it round so it fits on our homemade bun. So right now this fish, you can just take a look and say, oh, that looks pretty good.
It does.
Maybe just give it another quick second. But yeah, it's floating.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people ask, how do you know when it's done? Like that's the big question. And there's different tricks, and some of them work better than others. But the fact that they're floating right now is a pretty good indication that.
Well, that and the color looks really good. I mean, it's.
Thanks. And then these hush puppies are actually stuck to the bottom. So if you kind of shake it, they can. There they go. They pop up like that. Because when they drop them in, they go down, and then they stick to the little grate, and then you got to shake them, and then they come back to the top. So I think that's good, depending on how you like your mullet. Just let it hang there for a second so you don't lose a lot of oil. And now this is the big move that you have to practice, is dumping the mullet carefully, because it is a delicate item. And then the way we do it at the restaurant is just try to put them face up. You can see this is actually the inside of the fillet. That's the skin side. So we try to put it face up on the plate. Like that. 2 hush puppies. And that's, see the mullet?
Kingfisher platter.
We sell a lot of those.
I can imagine. It looks fantastic. And we've seen all the dishes being made. Make sure you check out Chef Bryan's other episodes where Kingfisher does make the coleslaw and the cheese grits. Both are, they taught me a lot today. So thank you, Bryan, for coming on the show.
You're welcome.
Make sure you go look at kingfishersandwiches.com. Go by and see them at 1500 Barrancas Avenue. And check out other episodes of Coastal Cooking Presents Quick Bites.
This has been Coastal Cooking Quick Bites, brought to you by Pensacola Energy.
That's all we have for this episode of City Roundup. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you, same place, same time, next week.
This has been City Roundup with Saida Rosa. City Roundup is the City of Pensacola's one-stop shop for everything having to do with Pensacola. Join us again each Friday at 8 a.m. for more of City Roundup.